How's it going, guys? It's Kyle, the How To Guy 123 here, and this is going to be a first video in a series of beginner guides to HTML and CSS. HTML is a useful and easy to learn skill even if you're not really tech savvy. Real quick, let's go into what HTML actually is. HTML is a markup language used in developing websites. HTML stands for HyperText Markup Language. HTML uses elements, which are the building blocks of an HTML page. HTML elements are represented by tags. I'll talk a little more about elements and tags in a little more detail later on in the video. So let's go ahead and actually get started in developing our first web page. The nice thing about HTML is you don't need any special software to write HTML code. All you need is some sort of text editor. In this series, I'm going to be using Windows' Notepad, which comes with every single copy of Windows. On Mac, you could use Mac's built-in text editor, which I believe is called TextEdit. But all I need is some sort of text editor. Anyone will do. And to actually view our HTML code, all you need is some sort of web browser. I'm going to be using Google Chrome, which is the most popular browser out there, but you can use any single browser to view your HTML code. So with that out of the way, let's go ahead and create a new file. And to do that on Windows, just right click on your desktop, click on new, and then click on text document. And then when giving it a name, you're going to want to highlight everything, even the file extension, and you're going to want to erase that. You can name it whatever you want. I'll just call this test. And for the file extension, you're going to want to give it a .html file extension. And that's going to turn this file into an HTML file that will contain our HTML code and is readable by the web browser. So just go ahead and hit enter, and you're going to get this little warning saying if you change a file name extension, the file might become unusable. That's okay, just click on yes. And there we go. Now to open it in your text editor, just right click on it, and then click on open with, and then edit with Notepad or whatever web or text editor you're going to be using. So click on that, and it opened up my second monitor, but it should open in your text editor. In this case, it opened in Notepad. So to save time in this tutorial, I've already went ahead and pre-wrote this code here. I'll leave it in the description below if you want to copy and paste it. And this here is basically the skeleton of your entire web page. This is how you're going to want to start out every single HTML document, or every single web page is going to start out with this code here. And in a second, I'll go through what each and every single one of these little things here do. So first, let's talk about elements and tags. So this here is a tag. Tags are defined with these triangular brackets, and an element is basically an element is like an individual component of an HTML document or web page. So an element is basically defined with a start tag and an end tag. So this here is a start tag. You have the your open bracket, then the name of the tag, and then another bracket. Then in between here will be the content of the tag or of the element, and then you'll have a close tag, which is defined by a backslash. So this body here is one element of your web page. So let's take a look at what each of these tags here do. So up here is the exclamation mark doc type HTML. What this does is it defines this file as an HTML document. I was always told you don't actually need to have this, but it just lets the web browser know that this is all HTML code and that this is an HTML document. So it's always good to have that there. The HTML tag is basically the root of your web page. It basically lets the browser know that everything between the start HTML tag and the close HTML tag is HTML code. The head tag here contains metadata, and metadata is, well, we're going to be using metadata a lot more as we go on with this series, but all you need to know now is metadata is basically just data about your website, information about your website, and it's not actually displayed on your website or on your web page. And the title tag here is the title of your web page. So right here, for this example, I wrote this is a title. And this is actually shown on the top of your tab. So I'll show you real quick. So we're actually just going to go ahead and open this in Chrome to see what we have here to actually view our code. So you're going to want to save it first before you open it in Chrome or your web browser. And I have my my default program to open HTML files is Chrome, but yours probably won't be default to open in any web browser. But to open it in a web browser, you're going to want to right click on it, right click on your file, open with, and then Google Chrome or your web browser. And then up here, this is where your title is actually going to be shown at the top of your tag. And you'll see that our web page is actually blank because we haven't actually written anything or added anything to our website yet, or web page. So I'm going to minimize this and go back to our back to Notepad here. Under the body tag, this is where everything that's going to be displayed on your web page is going to be shown. So everything between the start tag, the start body tag, and the close body tag is going to be displayed on your web page. And then we just have the close HTML tag. So let's go ahead and actually start writing some code. So I'm just going to hit enter, enter again after the start body tag, and we're going to actually start off by writing a heading. So the tag to write a heading is open bracket h1 close bracket. Then you're going to want to write your heading. So we'll write, this is a heading, and then close tag. It's actually usually really good practice to write your close or your end tag right after your start tag, just so you don't forget, especially if you're writing large bodies of code. You might forget to do that, so it's just a good practice to do that. So now if we go ahead and save this and we view our web page in Chrome, so since we already have it open, we can just hit refresh and it will update, and you'll see that this is a heading. It is now displayed on our web page. So this is a heading pretty much. And the thing with headings is there are different sizes of headings. So right here, so headings go from number 1 to 6. So right here you see number 1. If we change this to 2 and our close tag or end tag to 2, I might use close tag and end tag interchangeably, but they mean the same thing. If we save that using Control S or files save, then we hit refresh, you see our heading is now smaller. So like I mentioned, that this goes from 1 to 6, number 1, H1 being the largest heading, H6 being the smallest. So remember that the head tag and a heading are two different things. A heading, or the head tag, is just for metadata that won't actually be displayed on our web page, and the H1 tag or a heading tag will actually be displayed on our web page. So now I'll show you guys one more tag, which is the paragraph tag. So the paragraph tag is just a P. Oh, and one more thing I didn't mention is that the nice thing about HTML is it's not case sensitive. So if you want to, you could write everything in caps and it wouldn't actually make a difference. But I like to write HTML in lowercase. So right here, like I mentioned before, the paragraph tag is just a P, and the paragraph tag defines a paragraph, obviously. So I'm going to write, this is a paragraph. And now if we go ahead and save this and refresh our web page, we can see that this is a paragraph. It's now shown up on our web page. So I'm going to show you guys something real quick. I'm going to write another paragraph. So go ahead and write our P tag, and this, I'm going to write this. Oh, remember to always write an end tag right after the start tag, and then between the start tag and the end tag, I'm going to write, this is a second paragraph. So then if I click file and then save, and once again refresh our web page, you'll see that this is a second paragraph is now shown on our web page. Now if I actually remove both of the end tags, I'm going to show you this. This is something you shouldn't be doing, but if we actually remove the two end tags and then click save, you'll see that it did nothing. So sometimes the browser, if you forget to put an end tag, the browser will still format your web page correctly, but it's always, don't rely on this, always use an end tag. But sometimes if you forget to do that, it won't make a big difference. The web browser will still format it correctly. So one more thing before I end the first episode is I'm going to show you guys line breaks. So a line break is defined with the tag BR. And now, Now the thing about the break tag is it's called an empty tag. An empty tag does not need a end tag, so we only need a start tag when using a line break. And what a line break does, it will put anything after the break tag on a separate line. So I'm going to put this in the first paragraph, and then after that I'm going to write this will show on a new line. Now if we go ahead and save and view our web page, you'll see that this will show on a new line. Even though it's in the same paragraph, since we have the break tag, it will show on a new line. If I remove this and save it and refresh, it'll all show on one line. So that brings us to the end of the tutorial. I hope this helped. If it did, leave a like. If it didn't, leave a dislike. This is one of my first coding tutorials, so I don't know how well I did. I might have went a little too fast. If I did, let me know in the comments, and also let me know if I need to maybe talk clear, explain things a little bit better, or slow down like I just mentioned. But anyways, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next tutorial. And in the second part, or in the second episode, we'll probably be talking about text markups, which is like formatting text, for example, making text bold, italicizing text, centering text, and things like that. So thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one.